Hey, what's up everyone? Thanks for clicking on the video today. Welcome back to the Road to NBA 2K22 series here on the PlayStation 5, as us New York Knicks have become the hottest team in the NBA here in Season 6. With a winning streak sitting at 6 entering this installment, we are now 13-4 on the year, sitting at tied for second place in the East. But in this episode, our schedule starts to heat up a little bit, as we'll be highlighting games against the Phoenix Suns and our first New York City matchup in the Barclays Center, hosted by Damian Lillard, who is now on the Nets. That rivalry just does not seem to want to end. And we're also going to bookend those games with some more simulating as well. First things first, we're going to sim this Lakers game, which ended up snapping our win streak thanks to a brutal 119-96 loss against a weak Laker team that doesn't have LeBron anymore due to retirement, or the Unibrow, who has stayed in New Orleans throughout the entire course of this series. But that didn't stop LA from running away with things, and we're also met with some bad news. Ferran, against one of his former teams, he was in prime position for a career night in the Garden, dropping 15 points in only the game's first 11 minutes. But unfortunately, he went down with a lower leg injury and we couldn't pick up the slack. But this is also not the first time that Ferran has dealt with something like this. Going back to his rookie year in this series, he had his rookie campaign cut short due to a knee injury, and that's why his player is always wearing that leg tape you see. And with our players starting to get up there in age a little bit, we're all either 27 or 28 years old, you just have to hope that this isn't something that starts to become reoccurring for Ferran. This is the first time in the series where age might become a factor for one of us four, me, Ferran, Donovan, or Deshaun. So Ferran's going to miss 1 to 2 weeks with this knee injury. But the good news outside of all of it is that means that we'll be able to get a good long look at Immanuel Quickley in some extended action against the Suns tonight. Quickley's had an interesting career in this series. He didn't make much of his impact throughout the first 2 seasons of his career in the virtual NBA, but ever since last season's playoffs and my first season as a New York Knick, where he sparked our bench night in and night out, he's built off of that run to piece together an awesome third season up to this point, leading this deep bench in points and assists. And with this schedule we have on the horizon, aka the Suns at home tonight, 2 on the road against Atlanta and Brooklyn, and then 2 more back at home against the Bulls and the Nuggets, Immanuel Quickley will have some big shoes to fill as Donovan and I try to make do without a friend in the lineup for the next 2 weeks of action. And I also feel for Ferran that he has to miss this Phoenix game. As you guys know, his 2 biggest idols are Kyrie Irving and Devin Booker, so it's tough that he won't be able to suit up for this matchup against D-Book and the Suns, so I'll definitely be keeping Ferran in my thoughts during this game. I'm going to try to do my best to put on a show for one of my best friends. So let's hop into it. Phoenix currently 12-5, the 3rd seed in the Western Conference, and of course my matchup is CP3, and we're already out of the blocks fast, recording a steal on Chris Paul, and I'm running out on the floor. Donovan hits me, so he records an assist, and I'm on the board. 2 points, and I've already grabbed 2 rebounds as well as we set things up here. Baseline pick and roll. I'm trying to find Donovan for a lob, and we still have not been able to connect on one yet in the new NBA 2K game. D-Book spots up in the corner. Very nice fast break ran there by Phoenix, and now they're on a bit of a run, taking a 9-5 lead, but we knot things up at 11 apiece. We'll see if we still have enough firepower without Ferran in our lineup to hang with some of the better teams in the NBA. Great stop there by Mitchell Drew, who checks in at the 2 guard, tries to find me on the fast break. It's covered well by Phoenix as I throw the lob up to Donovan. Again, it's off target, but there's Eric Paschall, the rascal. He puts it in after I definitely threw a ill-advised lob pass, and hey, that should count as an assist. But anyway, we're jumping to the second quarter now with a 33-25 lead as the bench continues to play well, and now CP3 looking silly on his own lob attempt. I'm fading to the corner, pump fake, CP3 out of position, and check out the ball movement on this possession. Nicely done there. Quickly with the extra pass to Obi Toppin for the 3-point play. And even with me off of the floor, the New York Knicks still operating without a hitch, taking a 6-point lead with 7 minutes to go left here in the second quarter to play. D-Book, you can tell he's certainly enjoying his time here in the Big Apple, knocking down a blacktop type shot there. And D-Book averaging 23 points per game on my 6th NBA year, but 26.8 points per game on the road. So just like Ferran, he's better when he's away from home, as you see Obi Toppin there off the dribble. Another confident looking 3. He had a monster episode last time out, especially in that final game against the Chicago Bulls. That is on the offensive side of the floor, but on defense, that's his 4th personal foul. So it looks like the hot streak for Obi Toppin will have to take a timeout real quick as he heads to the bench as McCall Bridges steps to the line. And I assure you this, Bridges will be a reoccurring character in this Phoenix game, as you'll see in the second half. So now, without our starting center, Jaleel Okafor checks in, sets me a brutal screen here on campaign, rolls, and I'm still gonna have to wait for my first lob of NBA 2K22. Jaleel Okafor bobbles the catch, and it rims out. So now on defense, Dario Saric off the mark, Donovan collecting another rebound and making another good outlet pass as we run it back here on offense. Nice stop and go move against McCall Bridges. A very tough defender in his own right. That'll put me at 8 points on the game as we are nearing the end of the first half of action and putting together a couple awesome minutes to take us into the locker room. Cade Cunningham off the dribble. He takes Cam Johnson's lunch money and then some. And Cade Cunningham, ever since me, Ferran, and Donovan got suspended, he has turned into a star overnight pretty much. Some ups and downs in his rookie year, but in this season, he's got 12 points at the half, make it 13 after a free throw, and we're up by 11. And Cade Cunningham, man, he has got future superstar written all over him. And on this team, that is an amazing thing to see. So heading into the second half of action, we'll set things up here, trying to build off of a very impressive first 22 minutes of game time as Emmanuel quickly works to his left as D-Book loses track of the young gun. He snipes him. 61-47 is your score. Emmanuel quickly was honestly the only down spot of the Knicks in the first half, trying to fill the shoes of Ferran. 1 assist and he missed 3 shots in the first half. So now he's 1 for 4 in the game. As here on this play, Phoenix gets a second chance at it as DeAndre Ayton kicks it out to Jay Crowder, and Donovan, normally so smart, one of the best defenders in the entire NBA, he makes the no-no in basketball, the biggest one. He fouls the jump shooter. Jay Crowder knocks down 3 free throws, and now Donovan's in foul trouble. That's his 4th. So we're going to be without our starting front court for a pretty good amount of time, perhaps the rest of this third quarter of action. And Phoenix is looking to take advantage of that fact as Jay Crowder knocks down a 3 from the corner. 9 unanswered points for Phoenix. That one's on me. Shouldn't have helped on CP3 like that. And no Ferran and no Toppin or Donovan. I got to take things into my own hands and become a leader here. 8 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists as I head into the halftime period. As look at this, I hit CP3 with a deadly cut to the elbow. How about a little bit of a veteran move on the future Hall of Famer? CP3 lost track of me as I put my foot in the ground and beat him off ball. And then McCall Bridges on the other end. He takes a bit of a shot from Cade Cunningham, and the 2 young guns getting into each other's faces. This is where things started to flip a little bit. We thought this might be a fight. You see the bench in the background starting to stand up a little bit. But cooler heads prevail as Eric Paschall, Jaleel Okafor, DeAndre Ayton, and Jay Crowder, 4 veterans, they come in and cool the hot heads of the young guns. So good veteran presence there on both sides, breaking up the potential fight. But things starting to get pretty chippy here as Quickly's hit with a bit of a shot from D-Book. No call though, as Devin Booker leads the break. Nice job finding Chris Paul on the backdoor feed. Now CP3 comes back at me. He's now got 9 points on the game, 4 for 7 shooting. Me and him going back and forth, little battle of wits here as I'm trying to lead the Knicks here without 3 of our starters. 6 minutes left to go here in the third, and we're down a point now. Phoenix with their first lead since the first quarter as I hit CP3 with a step back. Good screen by Eric Paschall, the rascal. He might have gotten away with a bit of a moving screen between you and me, but we're going to ignore that fact. That's 12 points for me on the game, and now I hit a screen on D-Book myself. I continue to make positive plays for not only myself, but for my teammates, even off the ball. Quickly knocks down his second 3 of the second half as we head into the fourth quarter with a very intense game on our hands. Phoenix takes the lead by 3 as I check out for the rest of the third quarter. 89-86 is your score as Donovan and Obi Toppin check back in with 4 personal fouls to their name as Obi Toppin wants to come back with a bit of a statement dunk. We finally get to see our first lob completed of 2K22. We're going to try to continue the good spirits here on this possession. Donovan kind of forces it a little bit as Phoenix with the ball and the lead. I tried to attack DeAndre Ayton, should have been dribbling up that high, but they hit me with a ball reversal. So Phoenix 1 step ahead of me there. I got caught out near the timeline. And look at McCall Bridges pointing to our bench before the shot even fell. with a little bit of a statement made there on the three. So obviously I'm not that big of a fan of that. Mikal Bridges, normally a pretty cool-headed guy, but he's getting into it here as I try to ride the baseline with the three-point play, coming right back at Miles Bridges. And look at this, I'm pointing right at Bridges. You made a three on the last possession. I nodded back up. I make it even. He whips the ball right by my head to the ref, but I pull a Kobe move. I'm not even phased. I'm still smiling. I didn't flinch. And CP3 doesn't like my shenanigans against McCall there, giving me a shove now. So the bad blood continues between the Phoenix Suns and the New York Knicks tonight, and a very huge game here in the early season. As look at Donovan, the spin move out to the corner, quickly to me at the elbow, bounce pass back to Emmanuel, dribble handoff, 10 seconds to shoot, double move, whip it over to Boban. The ball movement continues to be crisp. Look at all these passes as I ride the baseline with 2 seconds left to shoot. Oh my goodness, one of my favorite possessions on the early season. Man, what can you say about that one? I'm up to 19.7 rebounds, 7 assists, and even better news, you're starting to see Phoenix sweat a little bit. They now have the lead. They're the favorites to close out this game, but we're making it tough for them down the stretch. And look at DeAndre Ayton on this possession. He had the mismatch, but he got away with an obvious walk here. Let's roll back the tape. Look at this. Pivot move, his left foot, and then he switches it to his right and goes back to his left. I don't know what I just saw, but we're going to keep it right here as I bring the ball back up, walking the dog, setting up a play. Now down by 6 all of a sudden with 3 minutes to play. Things getting a little bit desperate here for the Knicks. Quickly with a hand in his face, but he cuts the lead in half. Emmanuel quickly starting to find his rhythm after a brutal first quarter. Mikal Bridges would knock down a shot, making it a 5-point game once again, but take a look at this assist by Cade Cunningham. That wasn't the play drawn up, but he takes things into his own hands and makes a veteran read over the shoulder lob to Obi Toppin. It's a one-possession game once again. The offense is fine. We just need some stops. We've played great on defense all season long, and now we need a couple of big defensive plays here, and this is one. CP3 off the mark, and the three-pointer was closed out nicely there by Donovan. Behind the back move all the way, almost securing a potential game-tying three-point play. Chris Paul, still a great defender, but not as quick as he used to be, as I've been beating him off the dribble a lot tonight. 2 free throws would go my way, putting my total at 23 points, and we're only down by 1. Here we go with Devin Booker at the elbow, giving it to Jay Crowder. Here comes Ayton, a vertical screen, as then Donovan is caught out of position. You have to call out those screens, Obi, because now Donovan is out with his 6th personal foul. And Pascal the Rascal is also going to have some big shoes to fill. So no Ferran and no Donovan. It's just me from the big 3, as I got to try to come up clutch here and lead us for a huge victory at home as Cade Cunningham with the floater. We cleared it out for him against Bridges, and he will put a statement there on that drive. They both have been going back and forth. Bridges with 16, Cade with 14, as here comes Booker clearing out with a little bit of an elbow on quickly as he gets those 2 points right back. 25 on the night for Booker. That eclipses his season average. As Cade Cunningham, it's another ISO play for him. He stopped in his tracks at the elbow though, so he gives it up to me. Little ball fake. I'm trying to rebuild the possession here with 10 seconds left to shoot. Toppin now, a pick from him. Double team comes my way. Drop down pass. Toppin, extra pass. Pascal the Rascal from the corner, but that one is well short. And an empty possession in a time that we definitely did not need it to be, because Phoenix would then start to drain the clock. We would foul Booker, who knocked down 2 free throws. So with their backs up against the wall, we're now down by 5 with only seconds left to play. Tying up my shoes, we got one chance to at least keep the door cracked open for us. So let's see what Tom Thibodeau has drawn up out of the timeout. I flash to the ball. I'm waiting for Toppin once again. Sets me a decent screen, but Ayton is right there. Good rotation. Toppin off the mark, but he does get the miss and kick it out to me just beyond the semicircle. So 2 more points now for myself. 115 to 112. We're going to have to hope for some misses. That is, if I didn't attack Booker and get the steal. Bounce pass to quickly, but he wants the tie. He finds Cade. Book it for the New York Knicks. What a sequence. Devin Booker shoots nearly 90% from the line on the year, and I did not want to leave that up to chance. And Toppin set it all up, staying with his miss and finding me for the mid-range shot. That cut it to 3, And you see me, I was face guarding CP3. The inbound went to Booker and we did not foul immediately. Quickly was right up in his pocket and I come out of nowhere to take away from Booker. And I thought Quickly wanted the two as I gave him a gorgeous bounce pass, but then he one-ups me, somehow has eyes in the back of his head and makes a gorgeous find to Cade Cunningham to tie things up 115 to 115. The Knicks continue to find a way. I love New York. Those fans have it right on the dot. 117 to 115 as we pick things up here in the overtime period, looking for another tie ball game as Quickly runs off a screen. He's not open, so it'll be a dual screen for Cade. He's been awesome driving today, but this one's rejected by Ayton. Another huge rebound by Toppin sets up a three from myself. I'm closing in on 30 on the night as we take a 1-point lead and get a stop. So now 3 minutes left to play in one of the biggest games on the year and one of the most intense games on the series as Quickly slicing and dicing past Devin Booker extends our lead to 3. We get a couple more stops. We get one there on Booker. Quickly again stepping up as I give the behind the back move on CP3, but I get too casual with the rock there near the timeline. CP3 out to Bridges. He's been great all day. And he obviously one-ups me right there. A really bad turnover. That's honestly my only mistake here in the fourth quarter and overtime period of this ball game. And then it's another empty possession for the Knicks. So now 120 to 120. CP3 will then net back-to-back triples for Phoenix. I got screened heavy there and no one called it out once again. We're really missing our two defensive cornerstones in Ferran and Donovan as Cade Cunningham a little out of control. Hand off to me, step through, move. There's 30 points for me on the night. I told you guys pregame, I had Ferran in my head. I knew he wanted to play out here against one of his idols, Devin Booker. He doesn't have that chance, so I'm trying to make it up to him by putting on a show. D-Book spinning, using his pivot foot, and he drains another one. Booker does not want to miss. Phoenix fighting for a 1 seed in the West. We're fighting for a 1 seed in the East. I find Cade somehow. He misses the layup, but we do get it back for another chance. Cade really needed to knock that one down. As Quickly then, he's met with a bump, and the ref didn't give him the call, but he does not care. Wow, what body control from Emmanuel Quickly. Man, every possession counts in this game, wouldn't you say? So now a minute to go, Devin Booker at the free throw line. I want to help on him, but CP3 has knocked down pretty much every opportunity he's had from 3, meaning that he can skate by quickly, and now Obi Toppin has 6 fouls in the game. Oh my goodness, the thin New York Knicks get thinner as Jahlil Okafor replaces Toppin, so there's no starting center, there's no Donovan, and there's no Ferran, and Devin Booker would of course knock down both free throws, so I'm really on my own out here with only a minute to go. I'm putting everything I have into this game. As I catch it on the elbow, I tried my own Devin Booker shot, but might have forced it a little bit there. So now we definitely need to stop. It's not about shooting baskets anymore. It's about keeping the game alive. 41 seconds left. Ayton, he is covered nicely by Jahlil Okafor, so instead the drop-off pass goes to D-Book. And Phoenix now riding a 12-4 run. It's been a game of runs for Phoenix here in the second half. They now have their biggest overtime lead at 5. And this is it for the New York Knicks. It's do or die. Kicking it out to me. And Cade Cunningham's pass is off the mark. And in one of the most intense games of the series, and definitely this season, I put everything I had there out on the line. It was me, myself, against the Phoenix Suns, and I just didn't have enough left in the tank to lead this team. Oh man, one of my best games of my 6th NBA campaign. Over 30 points, nearly a triple-double, but it wasn't enough as I had to watch the Phoenix Suns celebrate on our home floor as we dropped 2 straight games. It was a tough one to swallow. 30 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists, only 6 missed shots on the contest, including that huge 3-pointer in the second, or rather in the overtime period. I literally put everything I had out on the line and it just was not enough, and it's just such a helpless feeling when that happens. Cade Cunningham was 17 and 3. He was awesome as well. Obi Toppin only got 25 minutes out of him, didn't have him down the stretch in overtime. And look at Mitchell Drew. He was once again brilliant off the bench, 5 for 5, quickly with 13 and the game's biggest assist down the stretch. And Donovan Gray with the near triple-double, 9, 12, and 8, but only 3 for 7 shooting didn't get him enough looks. And of course, he fouled out in the fourth quarter as well. Devin Booker with 35 points. Maybe I should have tried picking him up near the end of the game, as I held Chris Paul to 12 points and only 5 of 11 shooting. So we'll head back to the calendar as we sim one game, this game in Atlanta, as we try to snap the losing streak, and we would do successfully, and it was without the services of myself. You guys know I don't like to take games off. I'm not one of those load management guys. I like to play at least 80 games a year, but I just had to take this one off with all of the energy I dispersed in that Phoenix game. I had to get an off night, but we still were able to manage a win thanks to good performances from Donovan and Cade. And in the next game against Brooklyn, Ferran, you guys know that knee injury. He's been out for 2 games now, about a week, and he's going to try to play on that right knee injury. And he's going to try to do it because he's already missed one idle showdown against D-Book. He doesn't want to miss another against Kyrie Irving in one of the biggest games of the early NBA season. NBA fans of all shapes and sizes are going to be tuning into this one, so this is not one that Ferran wants to miss with how competitive he is. There's plenty of big matchups all across the board from a player standpoint. You got Donnie and KD going to battle. Ferran playing a little bit hurt. He's got that knee in a brace, going up against Kyrie Irving. And of course, me and Damian Lillard starting out pretty fast out of the blocks, wouldn't you say? Lillard knows my strengths and weaknesses like the back of his hand, but he decided to sag off and leave me open on the opening possession. And I decided to make him pay, but on the very next trip up the floor for Brooklyn, he hits me with a spinning shot. Damian Lillard over 25 points a game. And of course, he is not taking a step back at all, despite being in a new city, as we see Ferran taking it all the way. You see that knee brace on his leg. It doesn't seem to be harboring him at all, but however, it is interesting to note how he went off his left foot there. Maybe it's something to keep in mind going forward, but Ferran not using his dominant leg to jump there for the dunk, and then how about another 3 here in the first quarter? It's not often you see me make more than 1 3 throughout the entirety of a ball game, but I've got 2 under my belt as we head into the second quarter, up by 7. Cade Cunningham continues to be red hot. Good take there, no dice. Pump fake on LaMarcus Aldridge as we get it back for another look. Nicely done there. Obi Toppin's been a beast on the offensive glass. The Knicks second in the NBA in rebounds, man. That's been a huge storyline this season. We were about league average last year. Look at the combo moves I put on Damian Lillard. It was a tough finish, but I get it over the outstretched arms of Blake Griffin. A 4 for 6 start. It's awesome to see myself be in the focal point of the offense a little bit, with Ferran playing hurt. And Donovan, he's been a little bit quiet. I mean, he's still playing well, but not as electric as he usually is. Talking about electricity, how about we take a second look at this play right here? A quick 12 points, and the most 2 recent points came off of a beautiful series of moves against Damian Lillard, getting plenty of oohs and ahs from the Barclays Center. Everybody's been waiting for this matchup between me and Dame here in the bright lights of New York, as he made the switch to a new city for the first time in his career, and I also did as well. And look at the bench. This was probably my favorite part of the entire ankle-breaking clip. Mitchell Drew, my biggest supporter in college, and Jahlil Okafor, my biggest supporter when I came to the NBA my rookie year. They're getting along there beautifully on the bench. I know Dame is a magician, but not even a magician can take that embarrassing play away. So I get one up on Lillard here, but here comes Kyrie Irving trying to put some moves on Ferran and company, trying to have Lillard's back. He got Ferran leaning a little bit there, but it turns into 2 points on the other end. Kyrie Irving getting caught up in the narrative a little bit there. He tried to have Lillard's back after I got his ankles. Had Ferran leaning a little bit, but Toppin swats him and finishes the lob on the other end. What a way to take us into the halftime period, up by 5. So let's take a look at some of these one-on-one matchups. I've got 12 points, 4 assists, 5 for 8 shooting on the night so far. Lillard is 5 for 6 shooting, so he's only missed 1 attempt with 11 points. Who do you take at the intermission? So we're actually going to jump into the fourth quarter and skip the third quarter entirely. It was a pretty uneventful third for myself. 12 points, now 8 assists, as we have a 7-point lead with just under 8 minutes to go. So Brooklyn still in this game. It's been kind of an ugly one for them, especially on offense, but they still have a chance to make things very interesting down the stretch. They've been shooting 3 for 12 from beyond the arc, at least in the first half they did, as look at this drive. Took me a little bit of resiliency to finally skate past the Marcus Aldridge, but I get it done for one of my first scoring opportunities since the first half. I had 12 at the break, still had 12 entering the fourth, but now I break the cold spell, and we take a 7-point lead now with under 7 to play. Good screen there by Donnie. Look at Lillard once again. Pick up the lingerie, wouldn't you say? With the little teardrop on top of LaMarcus Aldridge. Lillard and I continuing to go back and forth. He had his today, don't you worry about that. Taking a look at this play right here. Lillard's a tough three, but gets it to drop. Man, he has been something else. 28 in the rematch, so it's been a battle of wits. What else would you expect between me and Damian Lillard? One of the most legendary rivalries on this channel, but we get the steal. Look at Toppin cherry picking, and he'll bank it in with a nice little kiss off the glass. At the end of the day, the better team is in the lead right now. Brooklyn couldn't save themselves from beyond the line. They're pretty one-dimensional offense. Partly the reason why they're only around 500 as they try to welcome Lillard into the lineup. Look at the pump fake I give on him. Another one that goes off the glass. It's another teardrop for me. 20 points. I've got 8 of those in the fourth quarter, and I'd end up finishing with 22 on the night as we were able to hold on. Brooklyn made it pretty close there at the end, but 108-104 is your final. I also added 12 assists with my 22 points, 9 for 15 shooting, and those 2 3-pointers I had in the first quarter. That really set the tone for me tonight. And once again, it's great to be in the focal point of the offense. Whenever you have Donovan, Cade Cunningham, and Ferran, it's nice to be in the spotlight a little bit here and there, and that's what I'm putting together recently. 20 and 11 for Donovan against KD, and Ferran had 17, but he's still trying to shake off the cobwebs from that knee injury. Don't know if he's going to continue to play through it. And as we take a look at Damian Lillard, he did have his, but he kind of shot Brooklyn out of the game a little bit when they had a chance to make it competitive down the stretch. 5 for 13 from the floor. Kyrie Irving actually did get locked up for the most part against Ferran, and Donovan only relinquishing a 5 for 15 shooting effort to Kevin Durant. So now we're going to end off the episode with some more simulating. I only am going to show 2 games because pretty big games, and the Phoenix one, I had to show you guys all the clips. So we're going to see how we do across this stretch of games. And we're going to start out with this rematch against Chicago. It feels like we're playing them a million times to begin this season. They have one of the 2 teams that are have a better record than us in the East. Chicago does. We blew them out the second week of the season, but they've taken the last 2 matchups as I become really cold here. 2 for 13 shooting, and Donovan's triple-double goes to waste. Ferran goes back to the bench as he continues to try to rest up for this knee injury. And we've dropped this game by 6 without Ferran's services. Zach LaVine with 26. Cade Cunningham led all scorers. I held Lonzo Ball to 18 points. And then Ferran, he's fully healthy now. And against the lowly Denver Nuggets, for some reason they're below 500. 28 points in his comeback effort. Very nicely done. And this time Donovan's triple-double is in a winning effort. And I also had 18 and 14. This is a prime big 3 game right here. What a performance there. We're going to skip ahead 3 more, making it 4 straight wins in a row. And then against the Milwaukee Bucks, they snap another streak of ours, 115-104, but you still gotta like what you're seeing for the New York Knicks. Cade Cunningham with 24 this game, 16 and 16 for Donovan, 13 and 12 for myself. But over this stretch of games, you're starting to see me cool off again from 3. And yeah, so my 3-point shooting looked pretty good here at the beginning of the season, but through this simulating stretch, I'm starting to go cold again from behind the line. So we're going to open up next episode against the Golden State Warriors, 17 and 10 on the year. We're sitting at 19 and 8. We're 3rd in the Eastern Conference, as we're going to have a nice little tango with Julius Randle, checking in on how he's doing. He got that monster contract from the Warriors, averaging 7, 9, and 6 assists on his first season in Golden State. Pretty impressive numbers. A little bit inefficient from beyond the line, but other than that, Julius Randle's enjoying his time out in California in his first season as a Warrior. So, like I said, Chicago, one of the 2 better teams with a better record than us in the East, and we're going to be facing the other one next time out. We have that game against the Warriors, and we're also going to be facing off against the Boston Celtics. They're 21 and 7. We're 2 games behind them and 2.5 behind Chicago for the top overall seed. And that's where we're going to end the episode off here. So once again, the schedule's becoming pretty brutal, but we're handling the punches pretty well. We ended up going 7 and 4 in this episode. So that's with the Ferran injury and the schedule becoming pretty tough. And I've now dropped to 4th in points per game. Pretty interesting, as you see right here. I'm now below Cade Cunningham, but still around 10 assists per game. and 1.2 steals, good efficiency. But as you see with my 3-point shot, now it's below what I had last year, 32%, not terrible by my standards, but I ended up shooting, I ended up shooting 35% from behind the line last season. So I'm already taking a back seat. I knew my scoring was going to be down coming to the Knicks. And yeah, that's going to end off this episode. So stay tuned for some big games next time out on the road to NBA 2K22. Peace, guys.